Hello everybody. Sorry it's been so long since I've done some videos. Springtime, a lot of stuff going on, unfortunately and fortunately, on the weekends, and unfortunately the time kind of gets away and I run out of time, unfortunately. But anyway, here today to do a video about fallen angels. What a fallen angel is a code word or a code name that goes out over all coalition networks to let everyone know there is a downed coalition aircraft. And what I mean by down, not necessarily being shot down, but it has landed on the ground outside the friendly confines of a base. And basically, when this call goes out, no matter what you're doing, everything stops. Everything stops and responds to this call. We actually had some fallen angel missions where aircraft went down for mechanical purposes, had to land immediately, and unfortunately it was in some field in the middle of Afghanistan, but those turned out well. Got teams on the ground, got mechanics and recovery teams out there to get the aircraft and the crews and all that. Everything was fine, but unfortunately not all fallen angel missions turn out that way. Unfortunately, most of those missions were aircraft that were either shot down or brought down by other means other than mechanical. I was on a duty cycle in Iraq in 2008, 2009, called the DART mission. And what DART stands for is an acronym for Downed Aircraft Recovery Team. Typically, it's just one single aircraft, and we had a Pathfinder team assigned to us. And basically what our mission was for, basically, as I said, any aircraft that would go down, and the DART team, or the DART team along with the Pathfinder team, would go out. We would drop the Pathfinder crew off, and they would secure the site, secure the what do you call it, the air crews, and either coordinate the recovery of the aircraft or whatever. But anyway, the first time this happened for me, first time I got this call, and it was very frightening to get this call, because you don't know what you're going into. And the first time this happened to me was January 26, 2009. We got called to downed aircraft. We weren't 100% sure all the details. We took off from Fob Spiker to head up to, I believe it was Taji area. Any of you that ever flown up there, lots of oil fields right there, and lots of natural gas burn off. So it could be dark as humanly possible, but up there these flames were burning at the top of towers, and it lit up the entire area, and it was absolutely miserable under night vision goggles. So we got the call to this area, and you can see it glowing on the horizon before you even get there. And we arrive, and unfortunately, we saw more than those fires. There was small fires scattered all over the ground for God knows how far, but just burning debris everywhere. And even at that point, I had no idea what I was looking at. We circled a couple times and figured out an area to come in and land that was somewhat clear of debris. So we went in and landed, extremely dusty, extremely terrible conditions. For one, like I said, we couldn't see very well. And we tried to land, obviously always try to land into the wind, but we also tried to land to where the fires weren't directly in front of us, blinding us. Anyway, we got on the ground, we dropped off the Pathfinder team, and it was at that point I realized what it was we were looking at. We were looking at a debris field of two Kiowas, two OH-58 helicopters that had collided with each other, and basically exploded and spread debris and unfortunately the crews all over this area. So basically we dropped the Pathfinder team off and we were instructed to come back to base, and there was another smaller base not too far, Taji, that was sending out ground teams from there, convoys. So at that point our mission was complete. We came back to base, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly, and they had late dinner at the dining facility on the base, and we decided to go in and get something to eat. And I ran into a buddy of mine there that he was a Kiowa pilot, and he had told me who it was, or who they were. And I was fortunate enough in flight school to go to school with many Kiowa pilots. Unfortunately, they don't fly the Kiowa in the Army anymore, but most of my entire class went to Kiowa school, and most of my entire class went to the 10th Mountain Division. So I knew a ton of guys that I went to school with down at Fort Rucker or Fort Novosel, whatever it's called today. And I found out it was one of the guys that was killed was my buddy, Matthew Kelly. And he was, I believe, an infantryman before that in the initial invasion into Iraq in 2003. I went to warrant officer school with him, went to flight school with him, and when we graduated flight school, his father was a guest speaker, because I want to say he was like a retired Army colonel or something. And so immediately that hit home pretty hard, that I knew this person. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, I mean, in a Kiowa, there's only a crew of 2, unlike Black Hawk, where we had a crew of 4, sometimes 5. So unfortunately that night, 4 pilots were killed. Matt Kelly, CW2 Matt Kelly, CW3 Philip Wendorski, CW2 Josh Tillery, and CW2 Ben Todd were unfortunately all killed that night flying in the area. And the reason behind it was, thanks to the Iranians, they were providing providing information and details how to make shape charges and how to make effective IEDs. And basically what they were doing was this particular device. It was a shape charge that they would use primarily for a ground IED, and when the vehicle would set it off or whatever, it would shoot this shape charge in the direction of the vehicle, penetrate the armor, and unfortunately with horrible effects. And they also discovered that they could shoot this up in the air as well, and it worked basically like a mortar device or something like to that effect. And the Kiowas, their mission took them close to the ground. So they did all their flying really close to the ground, and they flew tight together as a pair. And they were out there patrolling this area that night. From what I've heard is the lead aircraft was shot at with this flak type device, exploded, took evasive action to turn to avoid that, and unfortunately the other aircraft was so close that they turned right into them and they collided, and unfortunately all 4 guys were killed. And so that was an extremely rough night and really hit home, and that was the first time that I had lost any friends. So yeah, that was one fallen angel mission that we did, and I probably should break this video into 3 parts. So this is the end of part 1.